Hi, good morning, it's Lee Evans here. I'm just about to go and work with an amazing leader in business, a real high performer in developing performance. And a message here quickly just to say that high performance is something I've become very healthily obsessed with. It's something I love. I love the feeling of working with high performers, of being a high performer myself. And something I've become very aware of is that high performance begins with clarity, awareness, self-awareness, knowing who you are at this moment and where that lines or doesn't line up with who you want to be as your best version of yourself. And oftentimes there's a gap between who I really want to be and think I am half of the time and who I actually am being now. And so this is the beginning of self-awareness, what people have termed often emotional intelligence, becoming aware of the self and all of that. But oftentimes most people that I come across and speak to and work with don't really have the practices, the ways, the means and methods, the tools, the habits that they've developed over time to really be self-aware or maintain that self-awareness. They may have it fleetingly or accidentally now and again, but high performers really do take this clarity, this awareness of the self very, very seriously. It's a foundation that they build everything else upon. And one of the ways that you become a high performer, become very aware of yourself so that you can then do something about that, what you've discovered with your awareness, whether you are being who you want to be or not, is by asking questions, constantly asking questions of yourself. Now, I don't mean doubting yourself, that's not the same thing. I mean asking constructive questions of yourself, actually speaking to yourself. Lots of studies, research proves, and through my own experience, that self-talk is a huge factor in performance. Lots of people using lots of negative self-talk. But high performers use self-talk not just for affirming who they want to be as a positive statement, but also using self-talk to have a conversation, to ask themselves questions so that they can become aware in that moment of who they are actually being and whether it aligns with who they want to be or not. So some of these questions that people ask themselves become very powerful. Now, one of the things and one of the practices I want to give you, share with you now as a tool, really is about awareness. It's really about asking yourself some questions. Who are you? Now, ask yourself that question. Who are you? Your name. Who are you? That means, who is the best version of you? What does the best version of you do when you're being how you would want to be with your family, with the people that you work for or work with or that you serve? Who is that person? Who would, in the end of your life, when people are looking back and saying, that person, that Lee Evans, he was very this, that, the other things. What are the answers to those questions? These are fundamental questions you need to ask yourself. And if at the moment I say to you, summarize you in 3 words, if I say that to you, if it's a struggle, if it's have to think about, well, I'm confident, I'm whatever it might be, then that's an indication to you that your level of awareness could be a huge amount more than it is at the moment. High performers know, if you ask them a question and say, who are you? Who is Lee Evans? Lee Evans, I would say to you that I am very loving. My energy is loving, it's positive, it brings joy. My aim is to impact people in a good way in every interaction, whether it's on video like this, speaking to you, whether it's on the phone, whether it's in person, face to face, whatever it might be. My energy, the best self version of me, is very loving. The energy is very positive and affirming. I'm very proactive and engaged. Even now when I'm speaking to you, I am speaking to you as a person. I feel you at the other end of this screen. I'm engaged with you and wanting to connect with you. When I'm with somebody in person, I'm listening very attentively. I want them to know that. And a very proactive meaning I'm taking action all of the time, including asking myself, what am I doing at the moment? And the third thing for me is I'm fun. I want to have a sense of fun in my energy. I want people to have a bit of a laugh. It's good for you, it's good for me, it's good for everyone to have a sense of fun with my children, with all of these things. But if I don't ask myself those questions or set reminders for myself, reintroduce this information to my mind all of the time, every day, then I'm kind of leaving it to chance. I'm leaving it to randomness, like gambling. I hope that I will be my best self. There are so many other things out there that are trying to take your attention, to try and distract you from things. So the first practice that you could do after you've asked yourself these fundamental questions, who is the best version of you? Summarize those things in 3 words, how that best version of you is, how they act, how they behave, what kind of energy they bring. Summarize them in 3 words. For me, loving, proactive and engaged, which is 1, and fun. So how do I remind myself and generate a habit of being very aware of me doing that or not? One of the ways you can do this is to set yourself an alarm on your phone. Everybody has one. 3 times per day, spread them throughout the day, and just write those 3 things down with a question mark. And all it does is when it alarms and goes off, you look at your phone and you ask yourself a question. Am I being myself? Am I at this moment right now being loving towards the people I'm with? If you're not, you can then realize and be loving there, and that feels good. Am I proactive? Am I engaged? Am I doing something? Am I just mindlessly going around the internet, browsing or other things? Or am I actually doing something that matters right now? If you're not, you can do those things right now, in that moment. Am I being fun? Yes, hopefully I'm always having this sense of fun, but without asking myself that question, I don't know. I'm leaving it to default, and the mind often will run off into default mode when I'm not consciously aware of myself. So the foundation of gaining clarity really is just the beginning of gaining clarity. This fundamental habit of high performance is knowing who you are and knowing who you want to be, and realizing the gap between those 2 things, and having practices daily, consistently, that remind you of that, bring your focused attention to that, and then generate action towards that, there in that moment right now. So ask yourself those questions, come up with the answers, and then set a reminder for yourself a number of times each day. Commit to this practice, and you will start to become more of the best self that you want to be more of the time, and that's a wonderful thing. Now, if you like this tip that I'm giving you here, please give me a like, a share, a comment. I would love to have your interaction with this, as I aim to really impact more and more people in positive, really lasting ways. And have a wonderful day. Take care.